net, because with the $25 TID, ultimately you're paying $2 more in taxes for the year.
Director Lang, if I give you an additional $71,000 for roads, you'll be able to get something done, correct? Thank you. If I gave you an additional $120,000 for roads, you'd be able to get something done, more than the 71. Okay.
And the 2.612 would be 9 after the 25, correct?
Yes.
We get the help to get it done, especially you're still moving it. Fictitious wages.
Well, again, if the council approves it and then goes to public hearing and it stands through that public hearing in November, that would allow the Director of Engineering to go out immediately and start securing contracts to get additional infrastructure built up within the next year. Yeah.
And a nice thing about the roads and equipment account, you don't have to use it in 1 year and lose it. That's perpetual. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. So if you don't spend the $400,000 or the additional 120, you know, you'll have that base for next year. So another 400. Now you have $800. Now you can do more roads.
Which basically, if you
If
remember,
can't get contractors.
right, if you basically remember when we discussed the borrow, there was the 1.2 and the 1.1 or the 1.3 million in unexpended funds that we used to help cushion the borrow, if you will, of road funds that would have been in other funds that had built up over time, unencumbered funds, if you will. That's what helped get some of the work done that we have that's impending for our citizens.
Now the money in the general fund, it gets washed away. You don't spend it, it's gone. You can't carry forward that. Well, basically you can in the fund balance, but you can't carry it. That's just the way the roads and equipment fund was set up back in the day.
The only way you're gonna get something going to raise up, that's what you're talking about, then, is to have the council tonight override the finance committee, I only have a suggestion on there, and raise the budget up to a certain level.
And that's what I'm
have
advocating,
a
to at least
vote.
2%. You know, the finance director recommended 2.6. I would feel more comfortable with 2%, in my personal opinion. And then if we have to work it down from there, we work it down from there. But we handcuff ourselves in a way if we start with the lower 1 point. I personally just feel that while this does what it needs to do, it shortchanges the community because we don't do anything that would move us forward, really.
Right.
We're not gaining anything. We just
This
Alderman LeQuick.
is my 6th time doing one of these budgets, and the first couple were doozies with trying to keep quote unquote status quo. That's what you're talking about, where Mary Jo's budgets are coming in. You know, they were slashed. Somebody would retire. I mean, I've always voted like when the chief comes in and, you know, hey, somebody's retiring this, that. We've always, you know, I've always done stuff that technically would be considered blasphemous or unpopular because we have been elected to make tough, hard decisions. I mean, Alderman Bartasevich wanted to go to a 2 last year. We're actually in a better spot to go to a 2, a 3, or 4, or 5 this year with the you know, the little hit that the TIF took than last year. I would have asked for more money, but I knew I wasn't even going to get I probably wasn't even going to get to 2. I mean, you know, I don't even know if Bruce's number is high enough, but I mean, after that 2.612% levy increase is really going to be 9. If you can't sell to your constituents a $9 tax increase for the year, I don't even know how you got elected. I mean, how did you get people to vote for you? I mean, you had to convince somebody that you knew what you were doing. I mean, this is the golden time to, you know, to do this. And I mean, crapping on your employees, not giving them pay raises for years or whatever, it isn't the way to do it neither. I work at the Gruno Company. Guess what? For 5 straight years, even after the recession, nobody got raises. Guess what? They all quit and went somewhere else. So now we're stuck with a bunch of dummies straight out of college who don't know their blanks from their elbows, and it's comical. I mean, it absolutely is, and I mean that's what you get here. I mean, you know, how hard is it to pass the piss test, Chief, for the rum-dums you're getting to be dispatchers? I mean, how many people in engineering You know, the last health officer, she left for greener pastures. I mean, keep giving zeros, keep crapping on your employees. If any one of you guys ran a business like you want to, you know, run the city, I mean, your business would suck. I mean, it would literally stink. I mean, if you're crapping on, you know, your employees. I mean, I think they do a good job. I mean, I don't, you know, if you keep waiting until you get some Saturday snowfalls, you know, get some Saturday snowfalls. You keep giving them zeros or wanting to give them zeros, and you're balancing the budget on 50 people's backs.
You can do things here right now in this council, and your people are overlooking your own political bases there. You don't even know how to how you want to say it? You don't even know how to operate on the politics on the council to get something going.
Sure,
Why
well,
do you make a motion in this?
Right, hang on, Alderman Hollenbeck, I'm gonna go here first, then I'll go back there.
Point of order, though, Alderman Lukowitz, there was only 1 year there were no raises. I keep hearing years and years. Point of order, no, 1 year was at 1%, one was at 0.
But it's always suggested
No,
to
that was-
balance the budget on 50 people. What does that give us, 40 grand? Yeah, screw those 50 people, there's 40 grand. Where are the rest of the cuts from?
Yet
FSA, you want to cut that?
yet next year, that's what we were told we're gonna have to. So,
He told you how we go around it versus doing it this year to potentially doing it next year. And if we have to dump next year, yes, it's gonna suck, it's gonna be hard.
I sat
But
right.
I will hold my stomach from having to dump for 1 year, and I'll think about it. I'll return to the bathroom next year.
Okay,
I sat
Alderman
right
Hollenbeck.
here when you said the same thing last year. We got that 50,000 in the bank. If I have to go to it, I'll go to it. When we were talking about halving it. So, you know,
Halving it?
Yeah, when we were gonna just cut it, the FSA to half.
That's when what he's talking about, Alderman Lukowitz, is when the IRS changed the rules at the last minute, where you used to be able to give the 1,000, and we
Yeah,
ended up doing the 500 through the flexible spending account. The other 500 the council kept in, and the employees were paid less what they had to be taken out in income taxes based on, I don't want to say getting around the IRS rules, but that we had to change because of the change in the IRS rules. That was the way that we did it.
But I sat right here when you said, if we need that, we know where that is.
If we need it, that is our quote-unquote hydrant fund. That is our quote-unquote garbage fee. That is our
So
trick if we have to pull it.
It'll be okay to dump on the employees then.
It's never gonna be okay to dump on them.
Well, you just said we're gonna have to.
I said we're not, I said we may. I said we may. The word was may and might. Don't put words into my mouth.
Okay.
The word was may.
Gentlemen,
And I
okay.
says if we have to next year, we'll look at it next year. As of right now, I am not pooping.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad.
These are new chairs.
Members of the council, you have before you the executive budget 2015 as recommended by the Finance Committee. Members of the council, what's your pleasure? To refresh your memories, the budget that was approved at the Finance Committee was a tax levy of $8,150,370 with a 1.123% levy increase. The Finance Director had proposed a number at 2.004%, which specifically put another $71,000 for roads, which would put the tax levy at $8,221,370. And the other budget that has been discussed here before the council tonight is Alternative E, which was a 2.612% levy increase, a tax levy of $8,270,370, again, an additional $120,000 specifically towards roads. Alderman Lickwick.
I think you did a great job in your presentation tonight. I voted against it in finance because I voted for, quite frankly, five of them that have done the bare minimum. We've gone, so I'm guilty of not doing enough as an alderman in the past. I am gonna vote, I move, I'm gonna make an amendment to go to the 2.612% levy. I'm going for it all. There you go. I have the power, Dick. Bam. Bang. Blow it up.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the 2015 executive budget at $8,270,370, 2.612%, with the additional $120,000 specifically additional towards roads. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Moved by Alderman Lickwick, seconded by Alderman Barshevich. Any discussion?
Is it 'cause I'm awesome?
On a roll call. Locking your votes.
Oh, secret.
There it is. You got knocked out.
Oh, jeez.
Hold your votes.
This is anticlimactic, Dick.
Oh, wait.
Whoa.
Whoa. 1, 4, 5 voting yes. 2, 3 voting no. The motion carries 3-0. We will send off the budget to publication at the $8,270,370, 2.612% on a levy increase with the additional $120,000 specifically towards roads.
Mayor, I wanna make a point. When you set it high, before the final comes in, you can go low.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
You
And
have
that-
that opportunity, people.
and
That's
that's-
what I want that way, okay?
Can.
You can say you fight,
Can.
but your case.
You can. You can. That, after the public hearing, you may take action on that night. And again, that meeting is November, Carolyn? 18th. Okay. Thank you. Being no other business before the council, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Alderman Bartoshevich, second by Alderperson Chisholm. Any discussion? You heard the motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by the usual aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it and so ordered. We are adjourned. Thank you.